I started the thing before we could even get to the thing. Forget me doing an intro. I'll do that afterwards. This is just me reacting to this. Part 1, I guess.
Now this video is incredibly long, so I do apologize, but it was a blast to make. The amount of stories I had to go.
This is gonna be very creepy, so if you got a weak heart, don't watch. That's my biggest thing right now. Let me get to my intro. So if you start that, so Penguin Gaming here. Today we're reacting to this, the complete lost episode creepypasta Iceberg. I watched this a few years ago and I thought, why not react to it now?
Through to make this video was a bit astonishing though. A lost episode creepypasta usually deals with a lost.
We're gonna skip this part. This is just bro's intro.
This is why I switched to Shopify.
I'll be back
Today.
Okay, that wasn't that. We're starting off strong.
Red Mist is the story of an intern who used to work at Nickelodeon.
I don't like.
They were brought on as an intern while working on their animation degree and were pretty happy to be able to work at Nickelodeon of all places. It would be a dream come true. Students. The intern then goes on to explain that they would get to view new episodes of TV shows before they were ready to be shown on TV. The intern was in luck and they were able to see an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants.
I always wonder if this one was real. Always did. I don't know if it was. I'm gonna have to do more research on this one.
Before it was released. The team working on SpongeBob were burnt out creatively after the movie, and so the next season was slow to release, but that wasn't the only reason. The intern notes this is a common practice in animation to name episodes differently as an inside joke for the team working on the projects. It was a way to let off steam.
Did he just say an inside joke? Jesus. That's gonna be
And usually they were somehow related to the episode. The team thought this name was a little morbid, but they left it at that. They continue the episode and it starts with Squidward practicing his clarinet.
Okay.
He yells at SpongeBob and Patrick, who were being very loud just outside his window.
This sounds like one of the modern episodes. Like, not modern, but one of those old episodes. I'm trying to think which one. I can't remember.
The two leave and he continues, as he has to practice for his concert scheduled for that night. The screen cuts away to the end of Squidward's concert. The whole stadium is quiet. Then they begin to mercilessly boo him.
Here it comes.
Squidward has a terrified look about his face and body posture. The booing from the crowd was more sinister than normal, cartoon booing. It seemed like they really hated the concert and Squidward as well. Even SpongeBob was booing with the rest of the crowd. The weirdest part, though, were the eyes of the crowd. They all seemed to have real-looking eyes. They were a little more realistic than CGI, but...
I know I keep on this. Damn. Okay, I see.
Still obviously not real. They had red pupils and were bloodshot. This scene lasts for a little longer before it transitions to Squidward sitting on the edge of his bed in complete silence. He looks very upset, which is understandable with how that last scene played out. He puts his hand over his eyes and begins to cry.
Oh, for Squidward.
The camera then starts to slowly zoom into Squidward's face. As it does, flashes of image pop up between frames, so fast that you have to stop and go frame by frame to see them. Which is exactly what the editor did. He stopped the footage and played it frame by frame to see what just flashed on screen. They found it. It was a gory photo of a dead child on the side of the road.
You gotta be kidding me. That ain't kid-friendly at all. I don't think I like this anymore.
The shadow of the person who took the photo could be seen cast along the side of the child. The screen then went back to Squidward, who was crying louder now. There were red streaks running down his cheeks from his eyes. The sobbing continued with a low baritone laugh in the background. The laugh was so quiet, it was almost impossible to hear. Another single frame of another gory scene appeared on screen. This one was just as messed up as the last one. The editor quickly left the image and continued with the episode. Squidward was still crying, but it was silent this time. Squidward removed his hands from his eyes to reveal the same realistic eyes that the crowd had. He had red pupils and the eyes were bloodshot. He just stared at the screen, the same red streaks going down his cheeks as before. After another gory image of a child was shown, the screen went back to Squidward. A soft, low voice said, Do it. Squidward put a shotgun in his mouth and fired. The wall behind
Well, well, there's your ending.
him
I
was
guess.
splattered.
That was
The team
terrifying.
investigated the footage but couldn't find any obvious methods of tampering. Police were called in to examine the footage, but no links have ever been made to real missing children or any murder investigations.
Okay, that first one was kind of astonishing. I'm not gonna lie. I remember it being less edgy before. I don't know why. I guess on to the next one.
The author starts by saying,
I'm gonna say this right now. I have no idea what this show is about. So we just gonna listen. Hopefully I get some sort of
that they are a fan of the anime series Axis Powers Hetalia.
What's an
They found the
anime?
show and fell in love with it pretty quickly.
Oh,
The
that's
author's
cool.
sister joined them in their love for the show and eventually bought their own bootleg copy of the show online.
There's your big. See, there's your big mistake. You bought a bootleg copy. Who does that? Like, that's the most stupidest idea. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go out and buy me a bootleg copy. Go on. Like, so dumb. But, you know, whatever.
The author was content with watching the show online though, so didn't bother watching the DVD at all. A week later, the author's sister said she wasn't interested in Hetalia anymore. This
Ooh,
confused the
I
author, but they
wonder
didn't
why.
question it any further.
Of course
After a
you did.
while, the author got curious about the bootleg DVD that her sister had bought. She had found it while searching through the DVD cabinet. It was placed all the way in the back, which also confused her. The bootleg DVD had most of the episodes that the author was looking for, but they noticed something strange. There was another episode in between 23 and 24.
Oh.
The episode didn't have a name, it was just a box.
I had to stop because I'm like, there was no name on it. It was just a box. This is like, you don't touch. The smartest idea is that you don't forget it. It's just-
There shouldn't be an episode here, but there was. There was also a screenshot of the episode. It had
Yeah.
Italy staring upward with glazed eyes. There was sand in the background, but not much else. The author started the episode, and it seemed off right from the start. The episode started with Italy sunbathing in his jacket and shorts, while Germany and Japan stood off to the side. Both nations looked upset. The quality of the episode looked a bit
wonder why.
raw. It was pixelated and not very polished in some parts. It definitely looked like it was ripped from.
I know I keep pausing it. It's just. Why?
From a website. It had an unfinished nature to the animation. Besides the low quality animation, the show also lacked any subtitles, which meant that the author wasn't able to tell what they were saying. The voices, though, sounded just like the actual actors from the show. Japan and Germany
Oh.
appeared to be talking about being hungry. They each would grab at their stomachs in pain from time to time. The plot of the episode appeared to be about them being stuck on this island without anything to eat.
I'm lost. How did they get stuck on an island? Okay. We'll go.
Japan and Germany seemed to be hatching a plan. It was hard to tell, again, because of the lack of subtitles.
Yep.
The two kept looking over at Italy while speaking in hushed voices. That night, while Italy slept, the other two nations snuck up to him and picked him up. They carried the sleeping Italy very quietly and slowly. The two walked over to the ocean and placed Italy in it face down. Japan then placed his hands on the back of his head and pressed
Oh,
down.
hell no.
Italy tried to fight back as the two drowned him, but to no avail. Eventually, the flailing of his arms stopped and dropped into the water.
Oh, no.
The
That's
two
not
carried
good.
Italy back to shore and Japan took out his katana.
Ah.
He cut into Italy.
Oh. Okay. That we're gonna skip this one because I'm not trying to get demonetized with all that talk. So we'll skip that one.
Why have just one boyfriend when
Ads. Fucking, I mean, dingly darned. I'm gonna cut that out. I got jump scared. That one got me. That's creepy image. I think I had nightmares about this one a few years ago.
Max and Ruby is a children's show that started on
I'm gonna start crying, man. I'm thinking of that stupid short I made a month ago. Where it's all it is, just I think I was drunk and I was just. Let's just
Jr. in the early 2000s. It was a very popular show that starred two bunny siblings, Max, a 3-year-old who was always up to something, and his overbearing sister Ruby.
Yep.
In Max and Ruby 0004, the author is trying to get a hold of a
Why so many zeros? Damn.
DVD for his little cousin. Christmas was coming up, and Max and Ruby was their favorite show.
Ooh.
It would be
Well, I can't doubt. It's a good show. I mean, I don't remember them looking all demonic and creepy.
an
but
easy
sure.
gift to get, or so they thought.
Of course.
Searching through eBay and similar sites, the author just couldn't find any Max
That's surprising.
and Ruby DVDs.
Oh, he couldn't find any? Is that what he. Hang on, let me.
It would be an easy gift to get, or so they thought. Searching through eBay and similar sites, the author just couldn't find any Max and Ruby DVDs.
Okay, that's surprising because eBay got everything. Maybe you should have checked Amazon or. Trying to think of the other sites or Wish. Was Wish a thing back in the day? I don't know.
They seem to have all been bought out, right before Christmas, too. The author didn't give up the search, though, and kept at it. One day, while the author was scrolling for the DVD, he heard something get pushed through the letterbox of his front door.
Oh, I gotta. Why is it my. Okay, it's in my internet.
He ran to see what it was, before the dog got a hold of it, and was surprised to see what looked like a DVD. Picking up the box, and on the cover was written Max and Ruby, but it looked like someone had just written on the cover with
It's cursed. Throw it away. It's cursed. Did he order it? No, because he couldn't find any, right? It's sketchy. You should just burn it. That's my best motto. Is something. If something arrived in my door, I'm like, no, I'm burning it. It haunted. It's
a black
cursed.
marker. Also on the cover was a drawing of two bunnies, most likely Max and Ruby, except they were just black outlines with eyes. This put the author off, but didn't deter him from taking the DVD inside and throwing it inside of his laptop.
That's your dumbest mistake. Why would you even pick up something and just like, hey, I'm gonna go bring it and put it inside my laptop? Now your laptop's cursed. Now you gotta smash with a hammer.
To his surprise, the episodes seemed to be in perfect quality, not like they were ripped
Okay.
from some shady website.
Of course.
They even had a menu
Why
with the
not? It's like none of these are they? No, of course not. These aren't from some shady website. Bull crap. Of course they are.
episodes listed. The weird part, though, was that the episodes were labeled as simply Max and Ruby 1, with this format continuing all the way to 4.
Wow.
The episodes seemed normal enough, at least the ones he watched. They were of fine quality and actually worked.
Surprising.
The author decided to change out the box art, as it looked a little too creepy. He found a replacement online and printed it off. It was easy enough to replace, and now it was ready to be a Christmas present.
Ooh.
Christmas came, and the author's little cousin loved the
Yep.
gift, seeming super excited to watch it.
Wow.
That would have to wait, though, as they had other gifts to open still. The author's parents were going out for lunch and wanted the author to watch his cousin. He agreed as he had things he wanted to do anyway, and off they went. The author figured this would be the perfect time for his cousin to watch her new gift. The author turned on the DVD for her and left the room. While eating in the kitchen, the author heard a blood-curdling scream from the room his cousin was in. Fearing the worst, he raced
Yep. Bad news.
towards the room. Inside the room, his cousin was laying on the floor crying. The author looked over at the screen and saw what looked like Max and Ruby on the screen against a black background.
Yep.
The freakiest part is that they appeared to have no
See, cursed. See, kids, what do we say about cursed items? Yeah, burn it.
faces, just empty eye sockets.
Yep.
The Max and Ruby theme song was playing in reverse as well.
Of course.
20 seconds later, and the TV turned itself off.
Oh, that's not good.
The author tried to calm down his cousin by telling her it was a bad dream. This seemed to work, and they laid down to take a nap. He then received a call from his parents. They said they wouldn't be home until late that night.
That's not
He
good.
was secretly relieved, though, as this would give him some time to examine the DVD in private.
You should have done that in the first place instead of watching the first 3 episodes. Or the first 2, I don't know when you even watched. He should have watched the 4th one and be like, hey, this is cursed. I should have burned it right away.
Plugging in his earbuds, he started the DVD up on his laptop. The episode started with Max and Ruby's parents looking incredibly upset about something.
Okay.
The dad spoke up, saying, "Such a shame," before they both started to choke. The screen
Damn.
switched to Max and Ruby standing in front of a gravestone that read, "R.I.P.
What?
Mommy and Daddy."
Oh,
This lasted for a few minutes before it faded to black.
sad.
The screen faded back in with Max and Ruby sitting in Ruby's room. They were both crying intensely. The scene went on for a while before switching to Max sitting alone in his room. Max was staring at a rope that hung over a chair in his room. Max got up slowly and walked over to the chair. He seemed to study it for a second before climbing onto the chair. He stared
No.
down as he placed the noose around
No.
his neck.
Oh,
A loud static played in the background
It's
as the
one of
screen
these
faded to
again.
black. When it came back, Ruby was
Yep.
walking in on her brother. She started to scream just as the sound of the chair scraping against the floor could be heard. A few gurgling noises and the sound of tightening rope could also be heard, and then
damn.
nothing. Ruby started crying again, louder this time. She covered her face, but that did nothing to stop
That
the sounds
did
of her
no
sobbing.
The screen stopped the static thingy, and I was it startled me.
The faint sound of static had grown incredibly loud, and louder
Yeah.
still, until it finally got louder than Ruby's crying.
Oh.
The screen faded to black again before fading in with Ruby now standing in front of two gravestones. The one that had been mentioned before, and now a new one. This one said, "R.I.P. Brother."
Mhm.
The screen then faded to the two bunnies, like it had when the author had walked in.
Oh,
But this time,
God.
words were written above the picture. They read, "Death is our only release." The author destroyed the DVD soon after, not wanting anyone to have to see what he did. The next couple of days went by as normal. He even forgot about the DVD for the most part. That is, until he heard
Well, that's a good thing. Maybe it was a bad dream.
something slide through the letterbox of his front door. It was a letter with his name on it. Opening it, he saw the
Bills.
words,
Wait.
"Death is our only release."
Damn it! More ads. Okay. That last one really got me. Okay. Yeah. That one was interesting. Oh,
So, do
God,
any of you
no.
remember those Mickey Mouse cartoons from the 1930s? The ones that were put on a DVD a few years ago? Well, I hear there's one that was unreleased to even the most avid classic Disney fans.
Oh.
According to sources, it's nothing special. It's just a continuous loop of Mickey walking past 6 buildings that goes on for 2 or 3 minutes before fading out.
Oh, I'm getting tired. I'm gonna call it a night after this part.
I love the cutesy tunes put in though. The song on this cartoon was not a song at all. Just a constant banging on a piano for a minute and a half before going to
Is this the based off the mouse.avi one? Yeah, I remember. I didn't search it up. I remember it being a big thing in Pirates of Treasure Island and definitely having its own FNF.
white noise for the remainder of the film.
Oh.
It wasn't the jolly old Mickey we've come to love either.
Oh, of
Mickey
course.
wasn't dancing, not even smiling. Just kind of
When have you seen Mickey? Never mind. I take that back. He did dance in this. The Mickey Mouse Clubhouse show. So.
walking as if you or I were walking, with a normal facial expression. But for some reason, his head tilted side to side as he kept his dismal look. Up until a year or two ago, everyone believed that after it cut to black, that was it.
Of course.
When Leonard Maltin was reviewing the cartoon to be put in the complete
Leonard Maltin. I'm gonna need to look up that
series,
first.
he decided it was
Probably
too
took
junk to be on the
whatever.
DVD, but wanted to have a digital copy due to the fact that it was a creation of Walt.
If
When he had a
Walt made this,
digitized version up on his computer to look at the
you
file,
definitely know it's
he
not-
noticed
oh, maybe
something.
they better
The
than-
cartoon was actually 9 minutes and 4 seconds long.
Oh.
This is what my sources emailed to me in full. After it was cut to black, it stayed like that until the 6th minute, before going back into Mickey walking. The sound was different this time. It was a murmur. It wasn't a language, but more like a gurgled cry, as the noise got more indistinguishable and loud over the next minute. The picture began to get weird. The sidewalk started to go in directions that seemed impossible based on the physics of Mickey walking, and the dismal face of the mouse was slowly curling into a smirk. In the 7th minute, the murmur turned into a blood-curdling scream, and the picture was getting more obscure. Colors were happening that shouldn't have been possible at the time. Mickey's face began to fall apart. His eyes rolled to the bottom of his chin like two marbles in a fishbowl, and his curled smile was pointed upward on the left side of his face. The buildings became rubble floating in midair, and the sidewalk was still impossibly navigating in warped directions. Mr. Moulton got disturbed and left the room, sending an employee in to finish the video and take notes of everything happening up until the last second. This distorted screaming lasted until 8 minutes and a few seconds in, and then it abruptly cuts to the Mickey Mouse face that appears at the end of every cartoon. In the background was what sounded like a broken music box.
Ooh.
This happened for about 30 seconds, and whatever was in the
This is
remaining 30
definitely
seconds,
creepy.
I haven't been able to get a sliver of information about. A security guard was making his rounds outside of the room, and it was told that the last frame, the employee stumbled out of the room with pale skin, saying, "Real suffering is not known," 7 times, before speedily taking the guard's pistol and offing himself on the spot. The thing I could get out of Leonard Moulton
Oh.
was that the last
Another
frame
one
was
of
a
these,
piece
huh?
of Russian text that roughly said, "The sights of hell bring its viewers back in." As
Yep.
far as I know, no one else has seen it, but there have been a dozen attempts to get a file on RapidShare by employees inside the studios, all of whom have been promptly terminated from their jobs. Whether it got online or not is up for debate, but if rumors serve me right, it's online somewhere under
That
the name
scared the living shit out of me.
suicidemouse.avi. If you ever find a copy of the film, I want you to never view it, and to contact me by phone immediately, regardless of the time. When a Disney death is covered up as well as this, it means this has to be something huge. I've yet to find a copy of this, but it is out there somewhere. I know it.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it there because I don't want this being a whole long video. I've already watched 20 minutes of it. I'm probably gonna not be able to sleep. This is kind of creepy. I want to try to finish this tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we're almost to 100 subscribers. Let's get there, fellas. And I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.